I'm Teddy Abrams, and I'm a conductor, but also a performer as a clarinetist and a pianist, and a composer. I've been playing music since I was a very little kid, starting on the piano when I was about 3 or 4, and then picked up the clarinet when I was in elementary school, but got the conducting bug very early on and decided that that was what I wanted to do when I was 9 years old. And I'm very fortunate that all these years later I get to conduct and get to be at wonderful places like this beautiful hall with your incredible Pacific Symphony. So as a conductor, you have to kind of find your own individual style. Every single conductor has a different approach to working with the orchestra in the parts that you don't see, the rehearsal process, all the kind of behind-the-scenes stuff, but also in their performance style and the way they communicate with an audience. And my philosophies around conducting have had a number of different expressions. And number one, in terms of the actual work with the orchestra, I try and be the conduit, literally the conductor, as in like an electrical conductor or something like that, to let the musicians do their very best and access the ultimate power of the music in the most direct and impactful way. That's what I'm there to do, not just impose some kind of interpretation on the musicians, but really to let their own incredible musical instincts run free-flowing throughout the body of the orchestra. But then there's the other side of conducting, which isn't so much about the technique of waving your arms around or actually studying the music, but it's more the leadership element and the choices that you get to make as a leader that influence not only the musicians on stage, but the kind of relationship the audience has with the orchestra. And from that perspective, one of the most important things you get to do is choose the music. And I've been a huge believer that we should be listening to the greatest voices of today. In the past, when Beethoven and Mozart and Bach were alive, audiences were used to hearing new music by all those composers on a regular basis. It was what created such a vibrant musical community at that time, and I believe that audiences today deserve the same relationship with living composers. Of course, we should be hearing the great music of the past too, but I think many of those composers from those periods would want us to have just as exciting of a living musical community today. And that's why when I program music, I love to program music that's not only from our time, but our place. Composers that are alive today, working in the United States, that are looking for a kind of deep-seated American values in their music. And the program that we're going to play this week with the Pacific Symphony very much reflects that concept of programming and what that means for building community.